Hi everyone. Here we are again. Whoa. Sorry. I'm really sorry for how the first live stream ended. Uh in fact, before people start jumping in, before I start telling people to like and subscribe and do everything, I want to be sure that I am not. Okay. Okay, it's working well. I want to ensure that is working well before we proceed. And yep, it is. All right, guys. Hi, everyone. Welcome, 21 of you, please. You know what we usually say over here, smash the like button. But good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone watching us from all over the world, from all over the world. From the last live stream, we know that people watch us from all over the world. People watch us from Albania, they watch us from Maine, United States, they watch us from Texas, they watch us from Manchester, England. They watch us from Liverpool, from Ireland, from all over the place, from Kenya, for Christ's sake. They watch us all over the place. And we have even more people tuning in. I think this is even the perfect time. God works in mysterious ways because now I am seeing Happy Mark. How are you? How are you? How are you doing? Oh, Happy Mark is watching us from New Yorkistan. New Yorkistan. I don't think is there yet. New Yorkistan. Okay, that's how you should put New Yorkistan. That's New Yorkistan. Okay, that's a nice ring to it. Don't worry, Zora Mamdani is yet to win the election. So let's keep our fingers crossed and hope for the best. Yes, I am back. I am back, ladies and gentlemen. I am back. I am back. And hopefully we will not have any issue again. I had to check to make sure that we don't have this issue again. I'm so sorry for how the last one had to end because I had a little glitch. Anyways, we are back. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. And I don't know if I need to do the introduction all over again. Maybe I should just go straight into the live stream. Well, I will try to repeat some of the things I said before. Something on my mouse. Before in the last live stream. Okay, in this live stream, we're going to be discussing about the cancellation of Jimmy Kimmel and many other things. Okay, we're going to be talking about so many other things as well. And I feel like my conversation about Jimmy Kimmel is going to take a huge chunk of the live stream. And if I start with the conversation about what happened to Jimmy Kimmel, I will not have time I may run out of time, right? Because, I talk a lot. So I may run out of time. I may run out of time, and I don't want to run out of time. So I want to start with the other things first and, just kind of rapid fire reaction to what this other news stories. And once I'm done with that, we go into the main discussion for tonight's live stream. All right. So in the last live stream, I asked people to tell me where they are from. Let me know where you are from, where you are watching me from, and what the time is where you are watching us from. Okay. I want to know. I think it's interesting. I think it was fun when I highlighted, those who are watching us from different parts of the world and where they are watching us from. I already know that. Happy Mark is watching from New Yorkistan. New Yorkistan. Jesus Christ. New Yorkistan. I already know he's watching from New Yorkistan. And I already know that Ayenora is watching from. Where are you watching us from? These days you cannot be sure. So let me not presume. And while we are waiting for people to tell us where they are watching us from, please smash that like button. Again, I say unto you, smash the like button, destroy it. Let the love just keep going up. Like, let it keep floating on the live chat. Let me just keep seeing the love floating. Okay. Ayenora is watching us from the great state of India. I think was it yesterday that was Moody's birthday? I think it was yesterday. How are you guys doing over there? How is the weather? How is India? How is your neighbors, Pakistan? I hope you guys are getting along very well. I hope all is well. And Tiffany is watching us from North Carolina. Tiffany, welcome. How is North Carolina? What is the time in North Carolina? I want to know if I'm really fixing my live stream at the right time so I can, reach the majority of my audience. And yes, I was correct. John just confirmed what I said. Yes, yesterday was Moody's birthday. How old is he now? I don't even know. How old is he? It would be interesting to know. Tabitha is watching us from the. Is that the United States flag or is that? Yeah, that's the flag of the United States. Why is it showing UM on my distance? Is that a different flag? I don't know. Tiffany said the time is 5:52 p.m. Here is 10:50, 10:53, 10:53 p.m. over here. So yeah, we are running a late night show. In case anyway, it doesn't run at the same time, but yeah, this is a late night show that we are running. Okay, it's the United States. All right, guys, please smash that like button, destroy it, share this again. I know I said it before, but please share it again to everybody to every group and the Discord server and whatever it is, Facebook group, WhatsApp group. Just share it to all your friends and family. This is your civic duty, your civic responsibility. If you're not doing it, you're doing something wrong. If you're not sharing and liking, you're doing something wrong. Okay? Yeah, Tiffany, I know that Carolina is in the United States. I know that for sure. So yeah, please, everyone else, tell us where you're from. We have 27 people here, and they're here to tell me where they are from. I want to have 27 live chat comments telling me about, of people telling me where they are from. Yeah, I want to see. We have Daniel Martinez in the building. Daniel is from 042. Do people know what 042? Okay. 042 is the area code or telephone code for Enugu? 042. How do I know that? I schooled in the University of Nigeria, Nsukka. I'm a graduate of the great University of Nigeria, Nsukka. That's how I know what 042. 042. And Enugu people like to call themselves lions. My university, our motto is lion and lionesses. We call ourselves the lion and the lionesses. Yeah, telephone code. I'm right. So yeah, that's interesting. That is interesting. The world is a small place. Maybe one day people will be telling me where they are from, and I'll be like, yeah, I've been there. How is that place? How is this place? I look forward to that day where I get to travel the world, instead of getting to discuss about things happening in the world based on what I say on the news. It would be nice. Anyways, yeah. So please, guys, like I said earlier, smash the like button, share the video, and let's see if we can quickly get into what I planned for us to discuss. So, like I said before I ended the first live stream, I saw some interesting takes about political issues from interesting people in the United States. And I thought it would be good to start with that. We start with listening to these people. And I said I got from two people. I got from Jasmine Crockett, which is U.S. Congresswoman from Texas. And what's the name of the other person? I got clip from Mayor Brandon Johnson, who is the mayor of Chicago. So we'll be reacting to those clips and then to other things, and then we'll get to the Charlie Cox video. Now, somebody is asking, hope no Candace Owens today for my mental health or my mental state. Unfortunately, there is a little bit of Candace Owens. We have to keep ourselves updated with what is going on in the land of conspiracy theories. It is important. Okay, we all know that what really is going on in the world can be best understood when you look at conspiracy theories. They give us a good insight into understanding various issues. Candace Owens now has an intelligence organization. It is called Candace Intelligence Organization, CIA. And the members of Candace Intelligence Organization is Candace Owens. The members are Candace Owens, her husband, and her fans. Those people who are really, 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 really invested in getting to the bottom of something that is already, clear to everyone, because there's always something hidden something hidden. So yes, we are going to talk about Candace Owens. We are also going to talk about this news article. I saw a news article that the headline is so it's so funny to me. I hope you find it as hilarious as I found it hilarious. Because I think the headline is hilarious, and it was from CNN, and they were talking about Elon. Also, we are going to be talking about Barack Obama's comment on Israel and Hamas. He had something interesting to say about the conflict, and we are also going to talk about the latest in the legal saga between Brigitte Macron and Candace Owens. So yes, we are going to be talking about Candace Owens. Okay, we are going to be talking about Candace Owens and the latest update in her lawsuit between Brigitte and herself. And we are also going to be talking about a statement that was released from a board member of Turning Point USA, explaining what the relationship between Charlie Kirk and Candace Owens was like, how it was like, and how Candace Owens was relating with Turning Point USA before the assassination, the tragic assassination of Charlie Kirk. So we have a Turning Point USA board member telling us what was happening, some of the things that were happening behind the scenes. And then we have news from Iran. And this news from Iran is so interesting. Guys, it is so interesting and hilarious, and it's wonderful. It's wonderful news. I have good news. Okay, I'm going to start with a combination of good and bad news, and then we'll get to the great news for tonight. Also, we are going to be reacting to a hijabi woman telling us something about Islam. Okay, I think for a while people are forgetting that what I focus on mainly on my channel, or often on my channel, is the religion of peace. So we are going to get back to what we are known for. Yes. So that's what we'll be talking about. And please, before we get into that, again and again, please, 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 please smash that like button. Okay, please smash that like button. Right now, from what I can see, we have only 25 likes and 30 concurrent viewers. 26 likes and 30 concurrent. Let us have 30 likes and 30 concurrent viewers. And 95 people have viewed us, and maybe some of them are like, we don't want to watch this anymore. So please smash the like button, the actual like button for the video, and also smash the one that is on the live chat, please. And share this, like I said, please share this so that we can have 100 people watch us live. That is the goal today. To have 100 people watch us live. It is achievable. We can make it happen. And I'm counting on you guys. Let me read some of the comments, and also let's start with let me start with the super chat. Thank you, Happy Mark, for the $1.99. I really appreciate. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday to you too. I hope you had you've been having a very wonderful week, regardless of the wonderful things that are happening in the world. And we have this comment from Wahala Pikni. Okay. Wahala Pikni. Why as black we can't speak about issues affecting us? Why every time Africa is about to break, here comes Israel? 1967 Biafran war. Israel, how many of us Biafran starved because of the blockade? Some people may not understand what you're talking about. He's making reference to the Biafran war. And here's the interesting thing about the Biafran war. During the Biafran war, it was well documented that starvation was used as an instrument of war. We have officials of the Nigerian army stating that why should they feed their enemy? The same thing that I ask now, like, why is Israel supposed to feed their enemies? And the Nigerian officials of the Nigerian army were asking the same question during the Nigerian civil war. Why are they supposed to feed their enemies? But it wasn't just feeding the enemy that was the problem. It's that the Nigerian government was actively blocking aid to the southeast. They were actively blocking aid to the southeast. Like, people tried, France tried, other nations tried to get aid across to people in the southeast, and it was blocked actively. Like, they were shooting down planes. It was really like that. Like, it wasn't like, oh, don't, if people try, if you try with ship or boat or whatever, or planes, it gets shut down. And after the war, so many people had so many children had kwashiorkor. Kwashiorkor is this vitamin deficiency disease where you see a child with a big head and big stomach and then thin hands and thin legs. So many children had that illness after the war, and so many died of starvation, like actual starvation. And this was a war that was that had the blessing and the endorsement of the United Kingdom and so many other countries. Although the US stayed neutral and many other countries stayed neutral, but the UK was vehemently behind it, despite the atrocities that were going on during the war. So that's why when I see the UK now talk about, oh, there is a genocide in Gaza, I was like, I wish you could say the same thing during the Nigerian civil war, that there is that there was a genocide going on. Of course, there's still debate about if it was actually a genocide. Was it a genocide? Were they actively targeting civilians? You can make the case that they weren't actively targeting civilians, but they used starvation as a weapon of war. And when you use starvation as a weapon of war, you can argue that the goal, which is the technicality in the definition of genocide, you can argue that the goal of using starvation as a weapon of war is not to completely eradicate the people living in that region or the tribe or the nationality or whatever it is, or the people living in the region. Your goal is to get them to surrender. Oddly enough, Israel cannot use that argument today. You see, this is why when I talk about the Israel-Palestine, sorry, I'm going off on a tangent, but let me just make this case. This is why I get frustrated when I hear some of the things that are being said about Israel. Israel is starving the people of Gaza, therefore it is a genocide. If they are starving the people of Gaza with the goal of getting Hamas to surrender, is it a genocide? I would argue that it is not. Why? Because that is the same thing the Nigerian army did during the Civil War, and nobody said anything about it. And the UK was solidly behind it. They ran, like the BBC during the Biafran War was basically the propaganda army, the propaganda arm of the Nigerian army. That was what it was, the propaganda arm of the Nigerian army. They whitewashed the crimes that was committed by the Nigerian army. They made it look like there was nothing bad going on, and it was just a country trying to solve an internal dispute. And a rogue faction trying to bring rail in a rogue faction. That is what the BBC did during the Nigerian Civil War. Despite the fact that we have generals during that period saying things that will pass for genocidal rhetoric, and nobody did anything about it. At the end of the day, if you frame the war as a Muslim versus Christian, like the Muslims of the north attacking the Christians of the east, people will point out that, oh, the head of state at the time was a Christian. Many of the leaders in his army were Christians. If you couch it as a genocide of the middle of the southeast, the Igbo people say, no, that's not what the argument you get in response is. That's not the case. It was just a civil war. People were trying to, like, what's his name? Yakubu Gowon was trying to unify the nation by, basically going back on his word, which he had during the Aburi Accord. But I am saying so many things that you are not interested in. But the point I'm trying to make is, if you look at so many wars that has taken place throughout the last 50 years, you will see that so many of the things that happened during those wars, we are more atrocious than what we see happening right now in Gaza. And yet, the people who we are championing those wars are now criticizing Israel. And that is why it seems like Israel is being used as a scapegoat, like they're just being used, like they are being treated differently and unfairly, I would add. That's on that. Someone just told me, Anthony Azurungwa. I hope I pronounced your Igbo surname properly. Sorry, as a Nigerian, sometimes I don't know how to pronounce even Igbo surnames. No, this is not the person I wanted to highlight. Watching from London, England, Anthony Azurungwa. I hope I did not butcher it. Anyways, moving on. So this is the clip that I wanted us to watch. I was trying to get it to play and I was lagging when I was watching it in the first live stream. So let's see what this brilliant black woman who made it and was finally voted into the US Congress. Let's see this is the brilliance that convinced her constituents that she should represent them in Congress. This is what she said that blew their mind. Okay, this is the kind of brilliance we are talking about when we talk about Congress people or people in Congress, congressmen and women in the United States Congress. Now, listen to what this brilliant woman has to say. Did you guys catch that? Did you hear that? Let me play it from the part that is crucial. Just for those for those in the back, in case you are not, the audio is missing. I've been told that the audio is missing. Is it? Let's try to see. The audio is missing, I've been told. Okay. I've been told that the audio is missing.
I do want people to know that just because someone has committed a crime, it doesn't make them a criminal. That is completely different. Being a criminal is more so about your mindset. Committing a crime can come for a lot of different reasons. I understood what was kind of pushing them there. And so,
did you guys catch what she was saying? Okay, it's back. So let's play it again. Let's play it again so that we can hear her and hear the brilliance that is emanating from her pie hole. Okay, and because this is very powerful. This is what she's about to say is very powerful. This is the kind of things that should really make it into, like, if you put it in a book, it's going to be a bestseller. So let's pay close attention to what she's saying.
So I do want people to know that just because someone has committed a crime, it doesn't make them a criminal. That is completely different. Being a criminal is more so about your mindset.
Did you guys hear that? That somebody commits a crime doesn't make them a criminal, according to Jasmine Crockett of from Texas, United States. That somebody commits a crime, okay, doesn't make them criminals. Now you might be wondering, is it true? Is it true? Is it true? Is that no? Of course, I don't know if it is true. So let me consult the dictionary, because these days you can never be sure what to believe or what not to believe. So this is from the Merriam-Webster's dictionary. Okay. Who is a criminal? This is the noun. Okay, now, one who commits a crime, a person who has been convicted of a crime, or one who has committed a crime. That is what Merriam-Webster is saying. But of course, we know that Merriam-Webster, from the name, you can tell that this is a dictionary that is for white people, and it is just reeking of white supremacy. So we cannot go by what Merriam-Webster is saying. We have to go by what Jasmine Crockett is saying. Okay? A criminal is not somebody who commits a crime. For you to commit a crime, it has to do with your state of mind. Okay? It has to do with your state of mind. Now, I think what she's trying to say, I suspect that what she's trying to say is there are two elements to a crime. There is the mens rea and the actus reus. That's the criminal mind and the criminal act. So for something to be a crime, there need to be the act itself, and then there has to be the criminal mind. But she's that. But that's not, because this lady is too smart, okay? Because she's too smart, she cannot, present it like that. If she presents it like that, that's dumb. But because she's lofty, she's operating on a different realm. She has to say that you commit a crime. I mean, the fact that you're already saying somebody has committed a crime means the person already has both elements of the crime at play here. For something to be said, oh, you have committed a crime, is that both elements of the crime are in play. If I'm defending myself, let's say somebody is trying to attack me and I'm defending myself, and I, in the process, end up taking the person's life, God forbid. Hopefully I don't get attacked. And hopefully I don't find myself in that situation. But let's say someone does, and that is the case. That person has not committed a crime. Okay? That person, yes, that he has engaged in the act of murder, but that person has not committed a crime. But if I go on a killing spree, and the goal that is for me, I just want to kill a bunch of people, you don't say, oh, it has to do with it. No. I am committing a crime. So I believe that's what she's trying to say. But yeah, generally, if someone is generally, according to this brilliant woman, if somebody commits a crime, the person is not, okay? The person is not in any way guilty. It's not a criminal, rather. The person is not in any way a criminal. The person, for you to be a criminal, it has to do with your state of mind. Here's another interesting thing that I saw online. This one is from the mayor of Chicago. And I mean, At least there is a way to understand what Jasmine Crockett was saying. But for this one, I will need you guys in the comments to tell me what you think. I'll need you guys in the comments to tell me what you think this person is trying to say and how to make sense of this. Because, sometimes when people are speaking, they speak on a different level. And as a Nigerian, maybe I don't understand. I don't operate in this mind wave, this wave of intelligence. I've not gotten there yet. I'm just, when it comes to swimming in the ocean of intelligence, I'm just on the shore playing with, waters that are, washing up on the shore. So people are really deep into the ocean of brilliance, and you cannot relate with those people because they're on a different level. Okay. So I want you guys to help me in explaining this, what we are about to watch. And this, like I said, is from the mayor of Chicago.
The fact of the matter is, we are driving violence down on this city, and we're using every single resource that's available to us. Jails and incarceration and law enforcement is a sickness that has not led to safe communities. The fact that incarceration...
Did you hear what he said? Let's slow it down. He was talking too fast. Let's see if we can slow it down from the playback. Let's slow it down. He was speaking too fast. Let's start from here. I think this is where the nugget of wisdom is, from this place.
Jails and incarceration and law enforcement is a sickness that has not led to safe communities.
Did you hear that? Let's play it again. For those in the back, let's play it again.
Jails and incarceration and law enforcement is a sickness that has not led to safe communities.
Did you hear that? Let's play it one more time. Let's play it one more time so people can help us. I want this to be as slow as possible so that you can really help me in breaking this down. Please help me in breaking this down. Please.
Jails and incarceration and law enforcement is a sickness that has not led to safe communities.
Hallelujah. Yes, jails and incarceration is a sickness. Wow. I need to write it down. Jails and incarceration is a sickness. And essentially, he's saying law enforcement is a sickness, not crimes. Crimes are not a sickness. People who are criminals, who engage in heinous crimes, murder, rape, name it, burglary, what else? Theft, kidnapping, or whatnot, shootouts, and all, mass shooting and all whatnot. Those people are not the sickness in society. They're not the disease in society. It is the efforts of society to combat these crimes through jail and incarceration. That is the sickness that have not led to safety in society. I think the people of El Salvador, I think those people would disagree. But then, are they white? No, they're not white. So they're like Latinos. But Latinos are like white adjacent. They will soon be white adjacent, Soon, if they continue, if they go down the trajectory of the president or the prime minister of El Salvador, they will soon be white adjacent, just like the Jews are now white adjacent. But I think the people of El Salvador will not agree that incarceration is a sickness that has not led to safety, that is not effective. But then people of El Salvador, what do they know? What do they know? What is their brilliance and their intelligence and their mental processing? What's that thing that Charlie Kirk called it? Mental processing power compared to that of this brilliant mayor of Chicago. Okay, that is. So yeah, that's something else that I wanted to share with you guys. That's something else I wanted to share with you guys. Now, the next that I want to share before we get to the main issue for today is this news, this headline. This was published yesterday. Okay, this was published yesterday. And you can see the headline, the powerful headline. Now, this is supposed to be like the revelation of a scandal. Like, this person is like, if you saw how she promoted this article on Twitter, you would think this person just uncovered something disastrous that is going on in XAI. That's Elon Musk's AI company. This is different from Grok AI. XAI is different from Grok AI. So you, from the way this is being like reported, you think this is this is like something that is very scandalous, something very scandalous. Like you would think this is another Me Too headline of how Elon Musk is abusing his female workers, or how he's abusing his workers generally, and how he's a terrible boss. This is what this article is supposed to. This is what this article is intending to project. Like that is the goal, to show just how much of a tyrant, okay, Elon Musk is as a boss and as the boss of XAI, and how he's running his company in a very horrible and terrible way. And this is what the headline says: Elon Musk is back to asking XAI employees to prove what you've accomplished. Now, in case you think I'm misrepresenting the article, let's read it in full. It's a very short article. Elon Musk is back to business and back to sending emails asking employees what they've accomplished. On Tuesday afternoon, Musk sent an email asking all XAI employees to send a one-page summary of what you've accomplished in the past 4 weeks and what you intend to accomplish in the next 4 weeks. Of course, this is very bad. This is very evil. This is not supposed to happen. This is due by noon on Thursday, Musk wrote in the email. According to a copy of the email shared with CNN by a source familiar with the situation, a spokesperson for XAI did not respond to a request for comment. Okay, sorry. This is based on, okay, I read those two as if it was one, but it's two. Okay, a spokesperson for XAI did not respond to a request for comment. Musk is known for making such requests from employees at various companies and agencies he has led throughout his career. In August 2024, Musk sent an email to all staff at X asking for a one-page summary of your contribution to the company over the last month and over the last 12 months as a way to make stock and option awards proportionate to the likely future contribution of people at X, according to a source who received the email. The Verge first reported on the email last year. While Musk was advising the White House and the Department of Government Efficiency, that's DOGE, all federal employees were sent mass emails asking them to list what they have accomplished, what they accomplished in the past week. Musk announced on X at the time that failure to respond will be taken as a resignation. So, of course, they're using this to show that, see, this is how this person is running his company and why this person is, a terrible boss or something. This is kind of like an inside scoop of what is happening in Elon Musk's company. Can you imagine? This guy is asking people to be accountable, to show that they are actually working, to show that, you are in this company. What is your contribution? What have you done in the last week? And I want to say, if this woman, this person who wrote this, if this person is working for CNN, it's not like a guest article. If this person is actually working for CNN and this is what this person has accomplished in the last week, what's her name? Hadass Gold. If this is what she has accomplished in the last week, or even today or yesterday, if this is her accomplishment yesterday, she deserved to be fired. She does deserve to be fired, but it's because this is not a story. This is not news. This is not newsworthy. There are so many things that are happening in the West that are not being reported. But this is what CNN is wasting their time on, letting us know how Elon Musk is running his company because he's trying to be efficient and he's trying to make sure that people work. And for these people, this is like serious news. I'm very sure tomorrow you are going to hear somebody make a big deal out of this and be like, can you imagine? This is maybe tomorrow Elon Musk wants to do something or open a new company, or people want to criticize his company. They will point to this and be like, can you imagine how he's running his company? I mean, all these people who are saying this can never run anything in their life, obviously. But let me not say too much about that. Moving on. I want to address this. Now, Barack Obama is, I think I've forgotten what this event was, and he had so many things to say. Of course, he had something to say about Charlie. He had something to say about Trump. And he also had something to say about Israel. I mean, Obama was touching every major hot button topic in America and in the world as a whole. I'm surprised he didn't talk about, freedom of speech in the UK and also the border crisis, because he was touching every serious hot button topic. So this is what he had to say about the conflict in Gaza.
And so those who carried out October 7th had something in their minds that said, these families, these women and children that we are going to slaughter in cold blood are less than us. We are justified in perpetrating that kind of brutality. And those...
For every pause that Barack Obama makes, my goodness, I think Barack Obama can be giving a speech and a woman will go into labor, deliver twins, those twins will graduate, give birth to their own children, they'll go to school, graduate from university, give birth to their own children, and Obama is still between like two words that he's making in one sentence. Like the pause is just... He's like, my goodness, get to the point. Why are you pausing? But anyways, let's keep listening.
Who are now saying we're going to withhold food and medicine and shelter from millions of people as a consequence of those awful events. That also is dehumanizing the people in Gaza who are suffering right now.
Did you see what he just did? Now, I want you to, let's kind of summarize what he has said thus far. He said that people who went and committed the atrocities of October 7 had something in their mind that made them believe that the people that they were killing were less than humans. And he's right. Yes, those people have an ideology or a mindset that made them believe that people that they were killing were less than humans. And we know where they get it from. We know where they get it from. We know what the Quran says about Jews and Christians, how we are the worst of creatures. And that is that mindset, and how, the Jews are dehumanized in the Quran. That mentality, of course, is what drove what led to the atrocities on October 7. We know that. But look at what he also said. He said that it is the same or is something equivalent to that is making people deny the people of Gaza shelter and food and aid and all whatnot. What he doesn't mention is that this is a war and this is a conflict and this is what usually happens in a conflict. He doesn't mention that when he started the conflict in Libya, it led to so many people becoming, ending up without houses, people living their lives less than what he used to be under Gaddafi. Now, I'm not saying Gaddafi is a great person. Gaddafi was a ruthless dictator. That is a fact. Okay? But Libya was better economically, socio-economically. Libya was better under Gaddafi than since he was taken out. Libya right now has become a hub for slavery, a hub for terrorism, a hub for illegal arms dealing in the whole Sahel region. That is what Libya has become. But it wasn't the case under Gaddafi. And that's a fact. And who removed Gaddafi is the man who is talking right now. And this man is trying to equate what happened on October 7 and the mentality behind it. That it's not just the act. It's not that he's equating the act of October 7 to what is happening in Gaza currently. He's equating the mentality behind it. He's saying the same mentality or the same form of mentality that drove Hamas to commit atrocities on October 7 is the same form of mentality that is driving Israel to wage war against Hamas, essentially. That has led to the collateral damage of people losing their life, buildings being destroyed, and all the heartbreaking living conditions we find in Gaza. He's saying it is the same mentality. And this is nonsense. This is obvious nonsense. It is demonstrably, it is obvious. It is easy to demonstrate that this is nonsense. Hamas on October 7 was trying to kill as many Jews as possible, and they dehumanized Jews and they did not see Jews as humans. Israel is responding and going to war against a terrorist organization that threatens its very existence. And the goal is to eradicate Hamas. And yes, as a consequence of war taking place in an urban area, so many, humanitarian atrocities, so to speak, has taken place. Not intentionally. The goal was not to commit this humanity. It's not to leave Gaza like this. The goal, Israel did not say we are going to go into Gaza and we are going to make sure Gaza is flattened and turned to a desolate place and bombed into the stone ages. That's not the goal. The goal is we are going to get our hostages back and we are going to eradicate Hamas. That is the goal. That is the stated goal, and that has been the goal. It has never changed. Now, to say that is the same, that is what he is saying. It is the same as what led to October 7. That is what he's doing. And this is the first equivalence we see from politicians and some stupid people in America. Like, they are really, really stupid people.
Now, I want to be clear, I'm not drawing equivalences. This is part of the...
And this is the nonsense that I hate. Like, I love politicians that say the nonsense they want to say. You say the nonsense you want to say and you own it. When you want to say rubbish, you say it and you own it. You say, yes, I am making an equivalence. I'm comparing the two and I'm saying that they are the same thing. I like politicians that just say it. Than these ones that speak from both sides of their mouth. They are doing the useless comparison, and then they say, I am not doing the comparison, as if by saying I am not doing the comparison, suddenly you are not doing the comparison. Is that stupid comment that people make where they think they are negating themselves when they've demonstrated that they are not doing the very thing that they claim that they are not doing. Or when they say, I don't want to demonize my opponent, or I don't demonize my opponent, then they go ahead and demonize their opponent. As if, how you do, is this, why do people talk like this? As if by virtue of saying it, then you are not doing it. You just did it. You are doing that. You are doing exactly that. You are equating two things that are not the same as though they are the same. You're talking about them as though they are the same. And here's the funny thing. After he finished saying that, I'm not making an equivalence or whatever, he goes ahead to make an equivalence. Just listen to him. Just listen to one of America's greatest presidents.
Humanizing the people in Gaza who are suffering right now. Now, I want to be clear, I'm not drawing equivalences. This is part of how our debates get bogged down. What I'm saying is that when we don't see people as people, bad things happen.
So he's saying, essentially, he's saying that why bad things are happening in Gaza is because Israel does not see the Gazans as people. That is what he's saying. He's saying that is essentially what he's saying. He's saying that is the same thing that led to October 7 and is the same thing that has led Israel to prosecute a war against Hamas. This is outrageous and ridiculous. This is ridiculous on so many fronts. Like, why? How? Like, how? But there you have it, guys. There you have it. There you have it. By the way, let's get to the Candace Owens stuff. Let's get to the part about Candace Owens. First of all, let's start with this news headline. This is from The Independent. Brigitte Macron to provide scientific proof she is a woman in Candace Owens' defamation battle. So this is the latest update. This is from a lawyer, from Brigitte Macron's, one of Brigitte Macron's lawyers, who was on a podcast called, I think I don't know if it's a he or a she. I think it's a he, Tom Clare. I don't know how it is pronounced. He said that they are going to give general and specific evidence to prove that, Miss Macron was born a female, that the accusation that she was born a male is false. This is what the lawyer had to say. I don't want to suggest that it somehow has thrown him off. That he's talking about this, him talking about how the case is affecting Emmanuel Macron. And he's saying, I don't want to suggest that it has thrown him off his game, but just like anyone who is juggling a career and a family life as well, when your family is under attack, it wears on you. And he's not immune from that because he's the president of a country. It is incredibly upsetting to think that you have to go and subject yourself to put this type of proof forward. The lawyer also said that Mrs. Macron is determined to set the record straight in public. It is a process that she will have to subject herself to in a very public way, but she's willing to do it. And he added, the lawyer is a man, he added, if that unpleasantness and that discomfort that she has of opening herself up in that way is what it takes to set a record straight and stop this, she's 100% ready to meet that burden. That is the new update. That is the new thing we know about the case. And here is the interesting thing. This news story came out today, right? It came out today. Came out Thursday, 18th of September 2025. And guess something else that came out today as well. Guess another news that came out today as well. This. Candace Owens seeks dismissal of Macron's defamation lawsuit in Delaware. She wants the case to be dismissed. And of course, as you can see, it's coming out the same day. I wonder what made, she and her legal counsel to change their mind. She remember when she was like, she's going to pursue this to the, she's going to see this to the end. She's going to pursue, she's not going to ask for this to be dismissed. She said it, and I'm going to play the clip of her saying it, that she's not going to ask for this to be dismissed. That's what Brigitte Macron is hoping that she does, but she won't do that. Candace Owens has filed a legal motion asking a Delaware court to dismiss a defamation lawsuit brought against her by French President Emmanuel Macron and First Lady Brigitte Macron. The case comes from an 8-part series aired between January and February. We know all of that. In her latest response, Owens argues that the suit is politically motivated and attempt to silence her work. Her legal team has asked the court to throw out the case on three grounds: lack of governance, expiration of France statute of limitation, and the legal doctrine of forum non-convenience, which discourage action in court with little connection to the dispute. According to her filing, Owens is a Tennessee resident who operates her program from Nashville, where she employs a small team. She said she has no ties to Delaware, despite her business being incorporated there. Her lawyers also point out that any harm would have occurred in France, but the Macrons chose not to file their case there within the country's 3-month statute of limitation. Owens' attorneys described the lawsuit as libel tourism and said Delaware law requires the application of France's shorter deadline, which would make the claim time barred. The court has not yet ruled on Owens' motion to dismiss. I mean, for somebody who was talking big about how she wants to pursue this and how she's ready and how she's not backing down and there is nothing that is going to make her stop, why are you trying to dismiss the case? I mean, here she is. I'm going to play it for you. Here she is saying that she's not going to, try and dismiss this case, that she's going to pursue it to the fullest extent. She's going to see it through to the end. Yes, she is talking with Tucker Carlson, her media boyfriend.
I think they're banking on us dismissing it. I think they're banking on us dismissing it. I think one of two options.
What does that mean?
You can at first file to dismiss the case because you're going, hi, we have the First Amendment right. This is crazy. It's coming from Paris. I mean, like, why on earth would we honor this at all? Secondly, it's like, are we really going to allow the French president to come in here and like stifle my right to speech? I think they want us to dismiss it.
So you're not going to try to have the case dismissed?
I certainly do not want to have the case dismissed.
Amazing.
Yeah,
I've never heard that
we're having these discussions.
Guys, I just want to linger on this for a moment, having been around a lot of lawsuits. I've never heard anybody say, I don't want a well-funded case against me to be dismissed.
It's how I feel. And the reason that I feel that way, truly,
amazing.
Tucker, is because
You're
this
being serious.
is so much bigger.
Yeah. That is the person who said she's not going to dismiss the case, ladies and gentlemen. But of course, trust her fans. They're always going to find a way to spin this, like they always do. Okay, it's what they do. It's what they do. They're going to find a way to spin this and be like, no, actually, you see, something came up, and she's going to tell her fans whatever, and they're going to be like that. And of course, those people are basically eating from her hands. So whatever she spoon feeds them is what they are going to take as gospel at this point. Like, I don't know if she's had her fans hypnotized or something, but those people are really blindly following whatever she says. Even though there is preponderance of evidence to suggest that Candace has no idea what she's talking about. I wonder what the spin is going to be. I just wonder what the spin is going to be with regard to the fact that with all this report that's coming out. I wonder what her new spin is going to be. You know. Here is one of the board members of Turning Point USA giving us an insight of the relationship between between Charlie and Candace before the tragic incident of his demise.
Early on, 2011, 2012, 2013, they were tight. They grew TPUSA like crazy. I was shocked to see her leave until being part of TPUSA, her theories got just a little bit too down the rabbit holes. It was too extreme for their taste. And Charlie, to his credit, kept a cordial friendship with her for years, but it hasn't been a communication pipeline back and forth between the two for many years. That's why I don't know why we give Candace Owens' assessment any weight at all.
You're on the board of Turning Point?
Yeah.
Okay. When's the last time you saw Candace Owens?
In person?
Yeah.
2015, 2016.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No,
When's the last time she was at a Turning Point event?
Not in many years.
Okay.
But
so let's without even being biased.
Is
Candace even involved in Charlie Kirk's life at all?
Question proof that Candace Owens has nothing to do. She would be in a perfect world if they didn't have this. What I already know was a very quiet breakup where she got too rabbit hole for him. She would be the logical heir to the TPUSA throne, but she's not.
And now she's not even invited.
Correct. So this is so their divide is.
Wait a minute, not invited meaning
she's not even there.
Yeah, she's not
there.
one of the names.
Wait, you don't think she'll be at the funeral?
No.
That's
I mean
not the funeral.
The heir to the
okay.
TPUSA throne.
She doesn't speak at the events anymore.
I mean, Erica.
That's a reason for that.
Kirk.
And that's the truth. Since 2023. She has not been on any Turning Point USA event. She has not been there. She has not spoken there. She has not been invited for anything there. So there's this, I don't know how true it is, but people are suggesting, online that there was like a fallout between them, and, there's kind of like this quiet breakup, this quiet distancing. And of course, in one of Charlie's events, or in one of the events that he was invited in, or probably he hosted, someone asked him about Candace Owens and, the rise of anti-Semitism on the right. And he condemned it and called it demonic. But, of course, she wants us to believe, like we saw in the last live stream, that few seconds before Charlie was executed, he changed his mind, and somehow she was able to know, of course, Yes, John. Erica is the new she's the new CEO of Turning Point USA. And I believe she'll be able to do a very wonderful job. She looks like the person who I have real confidence in the fact that she'll be able to carry on her husband's legacy. Anyways, that is that about Candace Owens. Now this is one news story that I find very interesting. I find this news story very interesting. And okay, this is an Iran official who was like the enforcer of the hijabi laws in Iran. Okay, now he's in a scandal, and he has been. In fact, the story is very interesting. Just beyond the headlines, the story itself is just interesting. Okay, this is what the news story. This is what the report says. An Iranian court have sentenced Reza Segati, the former head of the Ministry of Culture and Islamic Guidance in Gilan province, to 100 lashes and exile in connection with a widely publicized same-sex scandal that cost him his post. So this is somebody who used to enforce the hijab law in Iran. And now he has been removed from the post, and he has been sentenced to 100 lashes, 100 strokes. Okay? And has been exiled. I don't know where he was exiled to. And why is all this happening to him? Because he was caught in a same-sex scandal. Essentially, he was engaging in homosexual activities. And for that reason, he has been exiled and he's been sentenced to 100 strokes of cane. Or maybe to be whips instead of cane. He will be whipped. This is poetic. This is like poetic. I know we should not make fun of people when they are going through bad things, but come on, this has to be an exception to the rule. Can you imagine? He went from locking women up and having them beaten and having them re-educated for not properly wearing the hijab to getting flogged and exiled for having homosexual relationship. What are the odds of many of the mullahs in Iran being homosexuals? I mean, what are the chances? What are the chances that many of these mullahs who are like, women should have their eyes covered, have everything about them covered? What are the chances that these people are closet homosexuals? Yep. So yeah, that's the news story from Iran. And finally, before we get into what we are here for, I want us to listen to this wonderful person. So this person that we're about to watch is a revert, a British revert. So this is a British person. She's obviously white. She's a native Brit, like she's English, okay? And she converted to the great religion, the religion of peace, the religion of feminism, the wisdom, the religion that views women, that regards women, that have great regard for women, the best religion on the planet, the religion that have the best of peoples, So, and she has some things to tell us. So pay attention. This woman has seen the light. So listen to her so that you too can see the light.
Since I've started wearing the hijab, I haven't really came to you and said any good things, because to be honest, I think like coming online and bragging about your rewards or like talking about your dua and stuff like that, I just feel like it's so personal. And every time I speak about Islam online, I'm always either just telling a funny story about like me being a revert and something that's happened to me, or something someone said about me wearing the hijab. But I do want to say, as much as I'm sharing like the negative things and people coming up to me being like, go back to your own country, when I'm fully British, British head to toe, like as much as I'm sharing those funny experiences, I do want to say as well, alhamdulillah, because I can see my rewards in real time, and inshallah
I hope you guys pay attention to what she just said. She just said that despite all the negative remarks, she's been persecuted in the UK for being a Muslim revert. Okay, that's what she wants you to understand, that she's going through a lot right now as a Muslim revert. People come up to her and they say nasty things. And, despite all these things, and because of all these things, she can see her reward in paradise. She can see her reward. She can literally, according to her, see her reward. I don't know who told her that to envision a reward in paradise, but let's just keep that in mind as we move forward.
going to be rewarded 10 times in the...
Yeah, she's sure that she's going to be rewarded. Like she can literally see that she's going to be rewarded 10 times in the year after. So in paradise, she's going to get tenfold, tenfold reward.
In the next life for wearing the hijab, because this is actually like, as much as people...
That she's going to get tenfold, put in mind, she's going to get tenfold reward for wearing the hijab.
want to say hijab's not a journey. This is the biggest struggle for me. Like, genuinely, I feel like I'm not tested with anything as much as I am tested with wearing the hijab. I actually can't stand it. Like it puts me through it, guys. And when I tell you, like, it's actually crazy, because actually, alhamdulillah, every single day, whether I have a bad experience or not, things happen to me and duas are answered, and like things are just happening to me, and I can just tell it's like because I'm being rewarded. And I know, like, I don't know, because like I sometimes, yeah, this is so real as well. If you're a revert, let me know if you ever think this. Whenever I speak about Islam online and like speak about like getting like rewards or like things that God has done to me, in the back of my head, all I can think is like, oh my God, people are going to watch this thinking like, oh, she's so brainwashed. That's because I used to watch videos of people being religious and be like, oh, she's so brainwashed.
My sister from another religion. I'm from another race. Let me just give some, a little, what do I call this now? Just a little something, just to help her understand the religion that she just, became a part of. Just a little, let's look at something like, I don't know, Quran 6 verse. No, first of all, let's start with this this hadith, this wonderful hadith. Let's start with this one. She can literally see her reward. Let us, let's introduce her to some of those wonderful reward, and I hope she can envision it. I hope, just that unfortunately some of these people don't get to watch these videos. It's so sad. It's a real tragedy that people like this don't get to watch my my Islamophobic videos. But just so she knows, the prophet said that the prophet that she now sees as the perfect example for all of mankind. This is Sahih Bukhari 29. Okay, the prophet said, I was shown the hellfire, and that the majority of its dwellers were women who were ungrateful. It was asked, do they disbelieve in Allah, or are they ungrateful to Allah? He replied, they are ungrateful to their husbands and are ungrateful for the favor and the good charitable deeds done to them. If you have always been good to one of them, then she sees nothing in you. She will say, I have never received any good from you. Now, she said the majority of, residents of ungrateful women. That's one. Now let's, she's like, I can see my reward. I can see my reward. She keeps telling us how she can literally like behold the reward of that Allah is going to give her in. Okay, it sounds like some of them are coming right away in the now, but of course there are greater reward, tenfold rewards in the year after. So let's look at some of those rewards, some of this, like the certainty of that reward. There has to be, I believe that there is a certainty that she has that she's really going to be rewarded in a year after. And I want to confirm what she already believes. I believe that somebody needs to confirm it for her. So that is what I'm here to do, to just confirm some of the things that are like rewards that she's certain to get in the year after. This is from Quran 6 verse 125. And this is a great portion of the Quran. Tells you a lot of wonderful things. And this is what it says. Whoever Allah wills to guide, he opens their hearts to Islam. But whoever he wills to lead astray, he makes their chests tight and constricted as if they were climbing up into the sky. This is how Allah dooms those who disbelieve. Now, you might wonder, what does this have to do with this sister? Of course, she has seen the light. Well, is Allah really leading her, towards the light? Or is Allah leading her astray? Because at the end of the day, Allah is doing whatever he wills, not doing it according to what any individual does. Allah is the one who decides who is going through the straight path and who is not going through the straight, who is going astray, who is going through the straight path and who is going astray. It all is in the hands of Allah. And here we are seeing that Allah is going to guide anyone, whoever, to whatever path that he wills. Those who he wants to guide, he will guide. Those who he wants to lead astray, he will tighten their heart, or brainwash them. We can, who can tell at this point? Now combine this with this hadith. Combine what we just read with this hadith, so I can get a better picture. Now, this is from the great prophet, and this is from Sahih Bukhari 3208. Narrated Abdullah bin Masud. Allah's messenger, the true and truly inspired, said, a human being is put together in the womb of the mother in 40 days. Powerful. This is what we call a scientific miracle, by the way. You stay in your mother's womb for 40 days. And then he becomes a clot of thick blood for a similar period. So after 40 days, you become a clot of thick blood for a similar period for 40 days, and then a piece of flesh for a similar period. Then Allah sends an angel who is ordered to write 4 things. Now listen, Allah sends an angel who is ordered to write 4 things about every individual, and pay attention to the 4 things. He's ordered to write down his deeds, his livelihood, his death, and whether he will be blessed or wretched in religion. So what are the 4 things? He's to write down the deeds of the individual, the livelihood of the individual, the date of the person's death, and whether he will be blessed or wretched in religion. That means whether this person is going to be a Muslim, whether this person is going to be a true believer, or whether he will not. Then the soul is breathed into him. So a man amongst you may do good deeds. Now listen, a man amongst you may do good deeds until there is only a cubit between him and paradise. And then what has been written for him decides his behavior, and he starts doing evil deeds, characteristics of people of the hellfire. And similarly, a man amongst you may do evil deeds till there is only 1 cubit between him and the hellfire. And then what has been written for him decides his behavior, and he starts doing deeds, characteristics of people of paradise. So this lady is here telling us about how she's guaranteed of it, of blessings. She can see the blessings she's guaranteed of. And I'm like, no, it's Allah you are dealing with. Okay? It's Allah you are dealing with. And if you know anything about the great Allah, there is nothing that is guaranteed with Allah. Nothing. Including your destiny in the hereafter, where you spend your eternity, is not guaranteed. You might be doing all those wonderful things, wearing the hijab and all whatnot, right? But Allah is waiting for you somewhere. If you have been destined for the hellfire, He's just waiting for you somewhere. Then when you are 1 cubit away from paradise, He stares you away. That is the religion that she belongs to. I hope she really sees the light and realize just how ludicrous what she believes in is. It's not, people who are telling her that she's brainwashed are not blind people as she would think. Anyways, let's get to the Jimmy Kimmel. We have spent almost an hour talking about other things other than the main thing we this live stream was supposed to be about. So for those who don't know, our great friend Jimmy has been fired. His show has been suspended indefinitely. Now many people are saying it means that he has been fired, and there is every likelihood that that's the case. And why was he fired? Well, he was fired for saying this. This is what he said.
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang.
Let's listen to it all over again from the very beginning so that we don't miss anything. We want to be sure that we are hearing him correctly. Okay?
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them, and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between the finger pointing, they're...
Let me slow it down. Let me slow it down so people can catch everything he just said and just how...
We hit some new lows over the weekend with the MAGA gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them, and doing everything they can to score political points from it. In between...
So essentially he said that the MAGA gang over the weekend, we are doing everything possible to paint the culprit, the person, the assassin, as anything other than them. That's as anything other than MAGA. What he's insinuating here is that Tyler Robinson is a MAGA Republican. Now, of course, I know people like Jimmy, they don't really write their jokes. They have like 1 million writers writing for them. They don't write their jokes. A writer writes it and then they go on stage and they say it. But this is kind of insensitive. Like, it is dumb, it is stupid, it is insensitive. And it is victim blaming, essentially. Everything you've heard about it is correct. It is victim blaming. Because Charlie himself was a MAGA Republican. He was a MAGA Republican. He was pushing, he was a representative of everything MAGA Republicans believed and wanted, whether it had to do with politics or whether it had to do with culture, whether it had to do with religion, for the most part. That was who he was. And that was what he advocated for. That was what his activism was about. And then you are saying that the person who killed him did so under the influence of the very things that Charlie preached and advocated for. That is what you are saying, essentially. So it is his fault. He did it to himself. Like many people have been saying over the weekend, the chicken has come home to roost. Now, first of all, it is false. I mean, it is false. At this point, especially people on the left, at this point, it is just stupid to keep making the case that this person was probably, I think there's a new one that they call it, that the person doesn't have any, some people will say it is unclear what his ideology was and what motivated him. Some will say that he was motivated by groypers. Some people still say that vehemently, despite the fact that there is no evidence that supports that. And they base it on the fact that his parents were Republicans and he comes from some of the things that they say are really ridiculous. That they're like, some people are like, he comes from a two-parent household. His father is present in the home. His mother is present in the home. He had a proper upbringing. These are Christians. These are white people. So therefore, this person is definitely a MAGA Republican. So they are saying essentially that any person who is not from a two-parent household, from a two-parent religious household with proper upbringing, and in fact, one of the things that they have used to demonstrate that this person is not a leftist is that he's good. He had good. His academic performance was brilliant. Was exceptional. Like, okay, so leftists are people who do poorly in school. Like, really, is that what you people are trying to say? But of course, all of that is ridiculous. All of that does not make any sense. All of that does not mean anything other than people are refusing to acknowledge what is right in front of them. That the person who did this did it because he had for leftist ideological reasons. He was driven by leftist ideology. Okay, so that should, in a perfect world, in a world of sane people, in a world where people are not going to argue over every single tiny fact, it is a given that this person was a leftist. I mean, you can go and watch other people give you a breakdown on that. I don't want to go into that, but that is what he said, right? And then he went on to make fun of how Trump was grieving about it and said, this is not how you grieve a person. This is how you grieve a goldfish. And of course, people are saying this is an attack on free speech. Now, what do I think? First of all, I think that there is a way this has taken place. There is a way this occurred that made it look like an actual infringement of people's freedom of expression. And I will explain. Why that is the case is because of the FCC's. Let me get this stuff here. What the FCC's chairman,
when you look at the conduct that has taken place.
So the things he said in this interview with Benny Johnson kind of make it look like this was done at the behest of Donald Trump. I doubt that that is the case, but it has tainted this a little bit. This story has been tainted by that. And if that is the case, then this is an infringement on people's rights to freedom of expression. Now, let me explain for those who, and this is very important. People's right to freedom of expression means that the government will not prevent people from saying things, whether what they are saying is wrong, whether what they are saying is insensitive, whether what they are saying is whatever it is you describe what they are saying as. The government should not infringe on people's right to say that, except where they are, where this is a clear incitement, where they are inciting violence, where they are calling people to carry out acts of violence, except where there is a direct call to violence. That is the only time the government is supposed to step in. Anything other than that, the government should not involve themselves in it. And the chairman of the FCC is an arm of the government. And if this was done at their behest or done due to their influence, then this is a case of somebody's First Amendment being infringed upon. I mean, it is clear. I know. Trust me, I dislike Jimmy Kimmel as much as the next person. I dislike him as much as the next man. I think he should have been cancelled a long time ago. I think he's a very obnoxious talk show host. I think some of the things he just says are annoying, I think he's a very reprehensible human being. I think he's what he has used his show over the last few years to do is really disgusting. You know, I can give you instances of some of the things that he said that are really, really abhorrent. Okay, but the government should not. The government should not. People have the right to be abhorrent. And if this was done at the behest of the FCC, I know people are going to say, "Oh, there is the requirement of public duty or whatever it is that was said that people have been, throwing around." Why should that requirement and why should the government be the judge of that? Like, the argument to be made on the right, the argument that need to be made on the right is, why should the FCC even exist in the first place? Why is there such a thing as the FCC? Why should people need to get a license from the government to have, a television station at this point, especially when with the current media landscape? What is the role of the FCC exactly at this point? This should be an obsolete agency. It's obsolete at this point. It doesn't have any, there's no use for it. And essentially, it has grown to become a rubber stamp agency that just, gives people licenses. There's no questions asked at this point. But to use it, to weaponize it at this point, to attack somebody who says something abhorrent, and to make it look like, oh, this agency is now going to, carry out its duty. I don't think it is good when you consider the First Amendment and when you consider people's right to free expression. The government should not infringe on people's right to say whatever they have to say, no matter how disgusting it is. And it is important to note that this is contrary. I believe this is strongly contrary to what Charlie stood for. This is not what he was about. He was about people having open dialogue, open debate. It was about the government not shutting down speech. It Charlie is a matter for free speech. The government, you should not. The government should not pressure, influence, or in a way, directly or indirectly, affect an organization's decision to let go of a comedian. And this will come back later. In fact, it is already having negative consequences and negative. It's already not looking good for it's slightly not looking good. It's slightly not looking good for the Trump administration and for Republicans. It is slightly not looking good. But in the future, this seed that has been sown now, the Republicans will reap it in the future. They will. And it's not good. I strongly believe that it is not good. Okay. And of course, do I believe that this person deserves to be fired? Yes, for many other reasons. I wish it was done without the influence. That's my real issue. And these people, like the chairman of the FCC, have kind of owned. They've kind of, spoken about this. Like, yes, we are the ones who did it. This is one of our achievements. They are talking about this like it is their achievement. The chairman of the FCC is talking about it like it is their achievement, and it shouldn't be. I hope it's not. But how can you tell at this point? At this point, how can you tell that this was not done under the influence of the FCC? And if that's the case, then this is a case of somebody's human right being infringed upon. Now, am I saying that this person does not deserve to be? Of course he does. Of course he does. I mean, the fact that he's not even he's not. I described him earlier when I was talking with my wife. I said, Jimmy Kimmel is an unprofitable servant. He's an unprofitable servant. And he deserved to have, I feel, if you ask me, I believe that ABC wanted to, let go of him. And this is their perfect. This was a perfect opportunity. A perfect opportunity to do that. Also, it is important to point out that those who are crying about this have been very hypocritical. Those people on the left who are crying about this are very hypocritical. These people have been pro-cancel culture. These people have done similar things to what just happened, as they've done similar things to that. Remember when Roseanne was cancelled from ABC? Her show was #1 and it was cancelled because she said something, and the current administration at the time was not happy with it because she compared one of their I've forgotten the lady. She compared her to an ape.
Fox News has severed bow ties with Tucker Carlson. After all these years, they are parting ways, which means he was fired. I mean, that's really what parting ways means. Tucker couldn't be reached for comment. He's already on a plane to Moscow to meet with his manager. But what a shock. I mean, what an absolutely delightful shock this is. Now Tucker can spend more time at home tanning his testicles and touching himself to that sexy green M&M. Sadly, he's probably not done poisoning old.
So as you can see, this is him just, gloating over the fact that Tucker Carlson was fired. Now, the funny thing is that Tucker Carlson himself was somebody who, well, let me not go into that. But you can see that he has no problem with someone else getting canceled, and he's going to gloat over it, and he's going to, throw a celebration when that happens to someone else. He has no issue with it. And we can also remember some, and we can also remember this, wonderful.
It was not a fun Labor Day weekend COVID-wise. The number of new cases is up more than 300% from a year ago. Dr. Fauci said that if hospitals get any more overcrowded, they're going to have to make some very tough choices about who gets an ICU bed. That choice doesn't seem so tough to me. Vaccinated person having a heart attack? Yes, come right on in. We'll take care of you. Unvaccinated guy who gobbled horse goo? Rest in peace, Wheezy.
Yeah, he said that about people who were not vaccinated. Essentially, leave them to die. Leave them to die was how he wanted the administration how he wanted the CDC to handle cases of people who had life-threatening issues because of COVID. He's like, leave them to die. If they are not unvaccinated, don't treat them. This is somebody who wanted. This is the, anyways. This is the kind of person that Jimmy Kimmel was, and this was the perfect opportunity to get him off the air. This is but nah, they still kept him. They still kept him. Here he was, I think this year.
Musk sent a
essentially promoting the burning and the attack on Tesla vehicles that happened earlier this year. I think it was last year. I don't know when exactly.
Our co-president Elon Musk sent a SpaceX vehicle to bring the astronauts back, and when they landed, he fired them immediately upon landing. Tesla stock is way down, almost disastrously so. People have been vandalizing Tesla vehicles, new Tesla vehicles. Please don't vandalize. Don't ever vandalize Tesla vehicles. And so our co.
And this is by the way, in case people don't get the joke, okay? The joke is he's encouraging people to vandalize Tesla vehicles. That is the joke. This was enough reason for him to be fired, but he wasn't. He wasn't. Here's I mean, you can go on and give examples upon examples of him just being a despicable human being, a very despicable human being. And this is what Trump had to say. And Trump's response was kind of funny. Of course, one thing about Donald Trump is I cannot watch him and not just start laughing because he's funny. He's funnier than Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert put together. Like, in fact, all the late night hosts put together, Trump is way funnier than all of them.
Well, Jimmy Kimmel was fired because he had bad ratings more than anything else, and he said Jimmy Kimmel was fired because he had bad ratings more than anything else, and he said a horrible thing about a great gentleman known as Charlie Kirk. And Jimmy Kimmel is not a talented person. He had very bad ratings, and they should have fired him a long time ago. So, you can call that free speech or not. He was fired for lack of talent. Well, Jimmy Kimmel was fired.
He was fired for lack of talent. I want to play this again. You can make this your ringtone. This is a good ringtone.
Well, Jimmy Kimmel was fired because he had bad ratings more than anything else, and he said a horrible thing about a great gentleman known as Charlie Kirk. And Jimmy Kimmel is not a talented person. He had very bad ratings, and they should have fired him a long time ago. So, you can call that free speech or not. He was fired for lack of talent. Well, Jimmy Kimmel was fired because he had bad ratings.
For those who are like, for those on the right, I mean, on the left that are like angry and frustrated and like talking about free speech and everything and like cancel culture is bad and everything. I hope they remember that the Rolling Stone had this wrote this article is based on a book talking about why cancel culture is a democratic tool, okay, and why cancel culture is good for democracy, okay. And this is an article talking about that book. So people on the left are like, hey, yeah, the cancel culture is bad. In 2023, this is what they were saying about cancel culture. Just keep that in mind, okay? This is a case of, real infringement of people's, I don't know how real it is, but a likely free speech infringement met with hypocrisy. That is what it is. That is what it is. Here is Chuck Schumer talking about it,
Senator Schumer, your reaction to this?
It is outrageous. It's a page right out of Xi's playbook. This is just despicable, disgusting, and against democratic values. Trump and his allies seem to want to shut down speech that they don't like to hear. That is not what democracies do. That is what autocracies do. And it doesn't matter whether you agree with Kimmel or not. He has the right to free speech. And so it is just outrageous. It is indicative of autocracy, and I am just outraged by it. Again, this is what dictators do. This is what Xi would do. This is what Putin would do. We are not that country.
All right. Now here is the same person a few years ago. This is the same person, you know. This is the same person, the same, you know, Chuck E. Cheese. And this is what he had to say when Tucker Carlson. This is before Tucker Carlson was fired. By the way, this is before Tucker was fired. This is what he had to say.
These lies continue tonight. Rupert Murdoch, who has admitted they were lies and said he regretted it, has a special obligation to stop Tucker Carlson from going on tonight now that he's seen how he has perverted and slimed the truth, and from letting him go on again and again and again. Not because their views deserve such opprobrium, but because our democracy depends on it.
Yeah, and everything. This is the thing. When people on the left attack free speech, they are doing it for democracy. They're always doing it for democracy. But when people on the right do it, they say, "Oh, this is a dictatorship." Of course, you know. So it's just the case that people who are going to be like, "Oh, this is an attack on free speech." Yeah, it is a fair criticism, but it's coming from the wrong people. That's kind of like what is going on here. Yeah, it is a fair criticism to say, okay, this is like an attack on free speech, but it's coming from the wrong people. It's coming from people who champion this. It's coming from people who have done this. I mean, if this is kind of the pressure Fox News was on that caused them to let go of Tucker Carlson, is that not a form of government infringing on speech? Is that not a government influencing a private company to decide to let go of someone, to fire them, to silence them? Is this not an attempt to do that? You know, it kind of gives credence to the argument from people on the right that, hey, we are just doing the same thing that they have been doing. You know, but then Trump ran on, you know, giving people the right to freely express themselves, not the right to. Trump did not say, I'm going to be, you know, Joe Biden for, of course, he's not brain dead or the walking dead, but kind of like when it has to do with censorship, I'm going to be like the Democrats, but for Republicans. That's not what he ran on. He ran on free expression. And it's not nice that, you know, he's doing this. It's not strategically, it is not good. But still, those who are criticizing this, it is important to point out that these people are being very hypocritical. These people do not care about free speech and have never cared about free speech and have celebrated. These people have never made the distinction that somebody who is in power should not call for a journalist, for a comedian, for whoever to be cancelled, to be fired for what they say. Now that it is happening to their champion, who is a talentless hack, who should have been fired a long time ago, whose ratings are like bad. Now that it's happening to that person, they're like, oh, this is what she would do. This is what Putin would do. This is what a dictatorship would do. But when they were doing it, they were not a dictatorship. Just to give you an example of some of the things that people on the left have done. This is one of the bright young minds, you know, in Congress, none other than AOC. And this is what she had to say when Tucker Carlson got fired.
Tucker Carlson is out at Fox News. Couldn't have happened to a better guy. What I will say, though, is while I'm very glad that the person that was arguably responsible for the some of the largest, driving some of the most amounts of death threats and violent threats, not just to my office, but to plenty of people across the country. I also kind of feel like I'm like waiting for the cutscene at the end of a Marvel movie after all the credits have rolled. And then you see like the villain's like hand reemerge out to grip over like the end of a building or something. But deplatforming works, and it is important. And
yeah,
there you go.
Well, this is deplatforming working like it has always worked. This is the right-wing argument that, you know, this is the deplatforming that you've been talking about. This is it at work. Okay, just enjoy it. Enjoy the great work of how this is how deplatforming works. So enjoy it. This is the right-wing argument with regards to this. This is what they will say. And I mean, those that live by the sword, those that live by the sword, those that live by deplatforming others should not complain when they get deplatformed.
Issue. We have very real issues with what is permissible on air.
Media organizations or social media platforms should be accountable for the role for being platforms for incitement.
I believe that when it comes to broadcast television, like Fox News, these are subject to federal law, federal regulation in terms of what's allowed on air and what isn't. And when you look at what Tucker Carlson and some of these other folks on Fox do, it is very, very clearly incitement of violence, very clearly incitement of violence. And that is the line that I think we have to be willing to contend with.
Well, you asked for it, you wanted it, and now you have it. You know, now you have it. Who else? Okay, so let me close because I'm getting if you can tell, I'm getting a bit tired. Let me close with this one. Let me close. And this is somebody who on CNN was able to finally say something that is sensible, because many people on CNN were just saying, you know, ridiculous stuff about the whole thing. You know, of course, ignoring the fact that they were once the same people who had called for, you know, who had called for this not too long ago. You know, it's so interesting to see people on the left finally become advocates for free speech. It's really interesting to see it happen in real time. It's interesting to see these people. I mean, they're even calling for Disney to be for a Disney boycott. I'm like, you guys are boycotting Disney. Disney is the company you are boycotting. Wow. You know, interesting times.
Well, first of all, I thought Kimmel's comments were just stupid. I mean, obviously, based on the evidence that we have heard thus far from the investigators and prosecutor who is currently in charge of the case, it certainly appears, and I want to use the word appears, that this guy was certainly someone who had an ideology that I would argue, if you were looking at a political spectrum, is on the left of that political spectrum versus being on the right, number one. That said, I think Disney is looking at their bottom line. I mean, Disney has faced several tough cycles where they have had some serious financial issues. And when you have Nexstar and Sinclair, those two entities combined cover 80% of the local television market in this country. If those two conglomerates are saying, we're not going to carry this show because it's not in sync with our values as corporations, or we've heard some anger from some of our individuals who watch in our various stations, or as Bill stated, you have business before the federal government that you would like to move forward. And by the way, those companies have a fiduciary responsibility to grow and expand those companies for their investors, and they're canceling. Then ABC had no choice but to say, you know what? If we don't cancel this, then you run the risk of conservatives saying we're canceling Disney Plus. We're not going to Disney World or Disneyland. We're going to no longer purchase anything that fits under the Disney umbrella. that becomes a very serious question if you're Bob Iger running this company that has had serious financial issues for at least 6 or 8 quarters now. That's the last thing you want. You're going to go ahead and say, you know what, this isn't worth it for us from a company's perspective. Cancel it, and we just keep moving.
And I think there is this is the thing with what he's saying. It is most likely that is the case. It is most likely that is the case, especially now. I mean, many media companies have had to, like, South Park did not air their episode. The episode they're supposed to air on Wednesday, they postponed it. And I suspect that the reason why it was postponed is because it will be too soon, or it will be tasteless under the current climate with what has happened and with how everyone is feeling. It will not go well. So they thought it wise to, you know what, let's postpone this, and let's not air this episode. I believe that there's something in that episode that will be tasteless, a tasteless joke, or something that they consider a tasteless joke. So they were like, you know what, let's not air it. So everybody is kind of being careful with what they say, because tensions are high, and it's not a good time. It's good to be wise in circumstances like this. And Jimmy Kimmel was not wise. I mean, all he had to do was keep quiet. Don't make this kind of joke. Wait it out a little bit. Be smart about it. But he wasn't, because he has always been a shitty person, a crappy person, rather. Let me not cuss. He has always been a crappy person. He has always been that guy, and he has been getting away with it. So he felt, well, this is another opportunity of me to be crappy and still get away with it, And I don't know. This is where it is conflicting for me. If the chairman of the FCC had not say what he said on Benny Johnson's show, if he had not said that, and if he had not made it look like he was responsible for it, if he had not done that, this would have been something that I will, say, okay, it's not cancel culture. It's just people losing their job for being crappy at their job, But him being getting involved, is kind of making it's like, it's like snatching, what's the name of this guy? Rhetoric will say, it's like snatching victory or snatching defeat from the jaws of victory, It's like dropping the ball when you should not. Like, it's just everybody's they're not keeping quiet when they're supposed to keep quiet, And that is what I have for you guys. I'm kind of tired. I didn't envision myself being tired at this point, but I am very, very tired. I don't know why. And maybe you guys can tell from my face and how he's looking that I'm looking tired. But I'm feeling very, very tired. And I have so many things I still want to go through, but I can't go through them again. I am tired. But before we go, I will post it on my member channel post. I will ask you guys to vote. Do you want this to hold by this time, because this is kind of late, or do you want it to hold during the day? I'll put it to a vote, because like the live streams, you want it to hold. I'll make a community post and have you guys vote on when you want, on the time you want my live stream to hold, so that it will be easy for me and it will be easy for you, and it will be easy for everyone. It will be easy for my wife as well, So yeah, because 10 p.m. is kind of the likelihood of me getting tired. I'm beginning to see that likelihood as it has manifested today. But anyways, thank you all for joining me live. Thank you for staying with me up to this point. Thank you for, still hanging around despite the technical issue we had at the beginning. And I appreciate it. I do not take it for granted. And I want to thank John. I want to thank Ayanora. I want to thank everyone who is still with me, despite how tired I am looking, and who still enjoy my live stream. I really appreciate every one of you. You people are the reason why I keep doing this. And I will resume by next week. I will resume making normal other content that I make. That's the shorts and the other videos that I make on my channel. I will resume making them by next week. So yeah, and I'll also still be doing the live streams, but maybe not as frequent as I am doing currently. So yeah, that is what we are going to, that's what you can expect. And until we meet again, peace.